An audit continues to make news, even if it makes no sense. Workers have used UV lights to find non-existent watermarks, hunted for bamboo fibers in ballots, supposedly proving they were flown in from Asia, and they've even accused poll workers of feeding ballots to tens of thousands of chickens before incinerating them. True story. There's zero evidence, as we know, of any of those claims are true, but now Trump's Big Lie Roadshow has arrived in Fulton County, Georgia, where some local voters are being allowed to examine copies of all 147,000 mail-in ballots. A reminder, Fulton County is the home of Atlanta and is heavily Democratic. Fulton County Commission Chairman Rob Pitts said in a statement that it was outrageous that the county has been a target of those who cannot accept the results from last year's election. Joining me now is Gabriel Sterling. He is Chief Operating Officer and Chief Financial Officer for the Georgia Secretary of State's office. You may remember he spoke out forcefully against Donald Trump and other Republicans who attacked Georgia's election system during the first recount.
Someone's going to get hurt, someone's going to get shot, someone's going to get killed.
Obviously, sadly, Gabriel, that was more than a little prescient when you had those words coming before January 6th. So here we are, nearly 6 months later, Gabriel, 3 separate audits of the vote in Georgia, including a hand recount. Is there any merit to what's going to be taking place in Fulton County?
Well, I mean, what the judge has ordered is not necessarily that the litigants get to look at them, but an audit needs to be done, and the rules haven't been set for that yet. It's kind of frustrating what Chairman Pitt said, and an irony, he actually beat me for that position in 2017. Their lawyers didn't file a motion to dismiss. They didn't do a closing argument. They submitted like a single deposition. They did next to nothing to try to stop this audit from happening.
Okay, but I mean, is there any merit to this idea that something went on in Fulton County, so they need to look through the mail-in ballots? Because this is a continuation of the big lie narrative of the election, is it not?
It is. It's from Trump supporter-ish kind of people. This is a person, Garland Favorito is the main plaintiff, and he's been filing suits for years on voter potential problems in this state, and they've all had the same level of merit from our point of view. But the claims are they're pristine ballots, that they're unfolded ballots that were just inserted, that there's machine-marked ballots. There's no evidence for any of that. Our law enforcement officers from Secretary of State's office have spent literally thousands of hours examining ballots in Fulton County and other counties, trying to track these kind of claims down. And so far, we've seen nothing give any merit to it.
But why is your boss, the Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, seemingly supporting this? I mean, he was the target of Trump. As we know, he has stood by the integrity of the election in Georgia. He says Fulton County has a longstanding history of election mismanagement that has understandably weakened voters' faith in its system. Allowing this audit provides another layer of transparency and citizen engagement. Why is he supporting this?
What we said from day one is that all Georgians should follow their due process laws, which is exactly what is being done here. We follow the law then, we're following the law now. That's the main thing about this. And guess what? A judge has ordered this. So we're going to follow what the law says. This is unlike Arizona, where the state Senate willy-nilly kind of did this and handed it off to a third party, and they were looking for cuckoo-cuckoo crazy town stuff. I get that. But this is a valid lawsuit. We have to follow the law. And that's what's going to happen here. Now, we are going to try to make sure this is an actual audit. What's happening in Arizona isn't. An audit means everybody is looking at it. You set up the rules beforehand. You say, we all agree that this is what this means and this is what this outcome is. We can't hand it off to like random people who claim to be auditors with no election experience, who are the thing in Arizona. And the thing with some people here, if it gets handed off to them directly, which I don't think it will be, is they are preternaturally disposed to finding things that are normal processes and saying, aha, this is the fraud. Because they're going to want to find it. If they don't find it, they're going to intellectually manufacture it. And they're going to go on to other news organizations that will then pump these things up into things that aren't real, which is what we're seeing in Arizona. And that's our fear.
So how can you ensure that won't happen in Georgia?
Because what we're going to try to do is make sure the rules are set up in the front. I haven't seen the judge's written order yet. He's just spoken from the bench so far, what I've seen. I think we'll probably see that on Monday or Tuesday. Our general counsel, the attorney general's Georgia's office was there and said, we want to be a part of this process to make sure that they do follow all of the chain of custody laws, that nobody's left with ballots alone, that we decide what are they actually looking for. They can't make up things as they go, which seems to be what's happening in Arizona, where they sort of change the things trying to do efficiency improvements, which is not how audits work.
Let me just ask you, Gabriel, you say, look, the difference here is that they went through their due process. A judge ruled on this. We should have let the court system play out. But there is this question about to what end, especially against this backdrop of the big election lie that has been fueling the Republican Party and GOP officials for months and months, even before the election. And I want to remind you of something you said to me shortly after the January 6th insurrection.
When people make these kind of claims, they undermine sort of the underpinnings of how the Republic is supposed to work. And if we get to a point where people just consistently blame cheating or we were wronged or all those kind of things, it undermines how the system's supposed to work. And the reason we go to ballots is so we can avoid bullets.
So how many times do you need to go to the ballots? Where does this end, Gabriel?
Hey, but this is the problem, Pamela. We are a nation of laws. They have filed a lawsuit, and Fulton County was the one supposed to defend this. This kind of goes into exactly what Secretary Raffensperger said. They just happen to do bad jobs, oftentimes in many things. They did nothing to try to stop this. Like I said, they didn't do a motion to dismiss. The judge even said, there's not a motion to dismiss before me, so I don't have any choice in this matter. They didn't put up any witnesses other than one deposition from one guy. They didn't do a closing argument. This is what happens if you don't try to defend your own system. So that is what's happening. Counties run elections. They sued Fulton County. So now we have to deal with this, the fallout from this, because they continually do things that aren't good for voters. And this is just another point in that matter.
Gabriel Sterling with the Georgia Secretary of State's office. Thanks for making time for us on this Sunday evening. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Pamela. Have a great day.